Yes, I know.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm just going to briefly go over some of this stuff. This outlines from one of the famous articles. This was back in 2002 in that area. Proactive Preemptive Operations Group. Look out, here comes that group. November 5th, 2002, the Proactive Preemptive Operations Group, as described in the internal briefing drafting of this summer to guide other Pentagon agencies, would carry out secret operations aiming at stimulating reactions among terrorists and states possessing weapons of mass destruction. That is, for instance, prodding terrorist cells into actions and exposing themselves to quick response attack by U.S. forces. Wait a minute, prod terrorists into action. Hello again. Dr. Strangelove, this is the way white folks write. I'll get over to, they call it a growth industry. This one might do. Provoking actions. The Los Angeles Times, has revealed the creation of an organization by U.S. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld called the Proactive Preemptive Operations Groups. Its purpose is to bring together CIA and military covert action, information warfare, intelligence, and cover and deception. The role is to manufacture the terrorism that is to be combated. Manufacture the terrorism that is to be combated. Does anybody remember in U.S. history the Boston Tea Party? Remember the white folks dressed up as Indians? So this ain't nothing new. So, faced with the massive opposition to their war plans, Bush and his team may again be planning some terrorist act to provoke massive revulsion and whip a skeptical and reluctant world into supporting war against Iraq and other targets. Military operations to provoke murderous terrorist attacks on innocent people. Such operations are not new for the United States authority. It has certain operations, whatever. I'll just read the top from fabricating the enemy. This is a part of the same thing. There's no evidence that the Pentagon played direct role in recent terrorist attacks. The latter were undertaken by organizations or cells of these organizations, which operate quite independently with a certain degree of autonomy. This independence is in the very nature of a covert intelligence operation. The intelligence asset is not in direct contact with its covert sponsors. It is not necessarily cognizant of the role it plays on behalf of its intelligence sponsors. Some of Daesh, some of ISIS, all of those people think that they're real. All of them don't know that they're Saudi operatives and American operatives. They just cutting people's head off because they done been run crazy, and they think that this is, so now look at what's going on. While they're useful, when they give them all the brand new Toyotas in 2014, and they just drive in waves across Iraq and everywhere. And they just have the whole, they said this whole area is now the Islamic State. I think they're controlling vast areas. Where do they get those weapons? In Iraq, how did they gain so much power over Mosul and all those places? The generals that were there were being paid by outside agents, and they told the generals, tell the people, the generals just packed up and left. Therefore, the soldiers are there and don't know what to do. So they surrendered or run off. Fabricating the enemy. The recent 2002 classified outbrief drafted to guide the Pentagon calls for the creation of a so-called proactive preemptive operations group to launch secret operations aimed at stimulating reactions among terrorists and states possessing weapons of mass destruction. This is, for instance, prodding terrorist cells into action and exposing themselves to quick response attacks by the U.S. In other words, the U.S. is setting them up. They know what they're going to do. They got their operatives organized and everything, and they tell them, like they did Mukhtar now. That's a preemptive operation. That was supposed to provocative, right? Supposed to provoke us. So there's to provoke. You can see everything. Make them mad, make them do this, make them do that. Well, if we followed them, if we did anything that they wanted, they would produce the problem, and then here they come in as a solution. Imam Musa is a dictator, and we have to, and they got all their people ready in the background. Imagine the people in Oakland, all of them took bayah to As-Sabiqun. Why none of them speak up about nothing? What did we do to any of them? What about the people here? The people here, all the people that used to come, everything. Where did they go? What did we do to them to make them leave? Who told them to leave? Why do, when they leave, they already have a band set up to play their song? They're abused. It's something we did here to make them leave. They don't ever say what it is. They can't prove it. But this happens over and over again. That's a preemptive strike against us. That's what it is. It's a preemptive strike. The only thing is, this fabricating the enemy, they can't never make us do nothing. That's why maximum patience, maximum love, maximum concern. So, but people not that sharp around the world, so they find little groups all over, they start supporting them and helping them and building them up, and the guys don't know that they're a stooge. Pretty soon they're part of the proactive, preemptive operation. This proactive because they're setting all this up. They need to justify the meanness and the killing that they're doing all over the world. They have to justify that. The Pentagon, the CIA have to justify it. This is why we're doing such and such. 9/11 was perfect. Right? So after 9/11, almost everybody knows that that didn't fit right. But they can use it. They say 15 of the guys, or the 19 guys, are from Saudi Arabia. But just up to this year, they still gave some Iranian money to those people. Iran had nothing to do with it. So the federal court twice, a few years ago and recently, gave Iranian money that they hold it. They said, we hold an Iranian money, so we're going to give it to them people. The people put out a piece of paper that said we want the money, and they give it to them. Right? Because of total injustice and inconsistent with reality. That's why Iran said, we're going to pay everybody. Everybody going to get their due, but it's going to be according to law. This is what Rouhani said. Okay. I got a lot of these reports there. National Military Strategic Plan for the War on Terrorism. You can go on the internet, these are old. Electronic Information Privacy. Provocateur State. All these are good. Provocateur State, you know. This is our favorite, our friend, Tom. Well, we gotta remember, the white folks like Tom. And Tom said certain things that all of us like. I would rather be exposed to the inconsistencies attending to much liberty than to those attending to small degree of it. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government. That's what Tom said. Laws that forbid the carrying of arms disarm only those who are neither inclined nor determined to commit crimes. Such laws makes things worse for the assaulted and unarmed man may be attacked with greater confidence than an armed man. Beauty of the Second Amendment that it will not be needed until they try to take it. The policy of the American government is to leave their citizens free, neither restraining nor aiding them in their pursuits. No man has a natural right to commit aggression on the equal rights of another. And this also from which the laws ought to restrain. These are all statements that Tom and his friends make. Tom says down here, I don't see it, but what he says, there should be a revolution every 20 years. Yes, he believes that. Yeah, he don't believe that. He believes that if you get a little power, it ain't gonna take no more than 5-10 years for you to go bad.
Go crazy.
Yeah, he said you're gonna go bad. He said that's what they learned from history back then. That's why they tried to make the balance of power and all of that stuff. They just was working hard on it. They was trying to create a government that would check the nafs of the human being without checking the nafs, without developing a purification of nafs. so they couldn't do it. Okay. Yeah, here's what he says, and I'll get back to it. God forbid we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. The people cannot be all and always well informed. The part which is wrong will be discontented in proportion to the importance of the facts they misconceive. If they remain quiet under such misconceptions, it is lethargy, the forerunner of death to the public liberty. And what country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that this people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. The remedy is to set them right. Sound like the people in Umar say, he was talking crazy. People say, well, what do you do if I go off? They said, we'll straighten you up with these here. He said, praise be to Allah. This is what in other words, time was for a revolutionary 20 years. And all of these writings sound very good. I don't know why I